the PowerA Fusion Pro 2. I just bought this. I've heard a lot of good things. Give you guys a solid review of this controller again. Highly recommended by a lot of people that play controller. So we're going to see how it plays and how exactly it feels in your hand. Let's check it out. Wouldn't expect a controller to have this big of a box, and pretty cool outline on the box. Not bad looking. Comes this little carrying case. That's kind of convenient if you ever want to travel with your controller, a little case to do it with. Here's exactly what we're working with. Here's the front of the controller. Back of it has 4 paddles. I don't know how exactly they work yet. This is my first time seeing it. Yeah, you have 3 different settings for your triggers. Pull it back as much or as little as you like. So the further you go towards the outside, the less the triggers go. Move it to the inside, they pull down a little bit more. Not bad looking controller. Feels nice too. I like it. I have pretty average size hands, so it feels good in my hands. Just picking it up for the very first time, my fingers sit right on these back buttons quite conveniently, and they give a little click. Too much, but you can feel a click when you press them, which I kind of like. This button says program. It allows you to then program the buttons or the paddles to whatever buttons you want. We'll take a look at the software, see what that looks like on the inside. But overall, physical hardware piece, I like the controller. All right, let's take a look at the controller, see how it works. Immediately fully works. Besides the back buttons, they're not programmed anything yet, so they're there, but they still need to be programmed. Everything else on the controller, the normal buttons work. In order to program this, you have to press this program button to hold it for 3 seconds, this button right here, and then this front side will see blinking, this little light. Watch the light, boom, it's starting to blink. And I want to use A for my bottom right back button, so I press A, blinks faster. I press the back button, it stops blinking, and it looks like it has worked. Yeah, that works really easily, pretty easy to program, and you could do all 4 buttons in, I'd say, under a minute. All right, so I program all my back buttons. It took me, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds to be able to do that, a minute at most. I got jump as my bottom right. I have build or switch modes as the bottom left. Top right is going to be pickaxe. Top left is going to be edit. So if I were to place a wall, use that to edit. First time using this controller, excuse my edits. Pretty simple to set up, and let's see how it feels in game. All right, guys, bear with me. This is my first 1v1 on this controller. Basically, it's new binds, so we'll see how that turns out. Extra paddles that really screw with me, but I think I'll be able to do all right here. Probably won't even use some of the paddles. I have to say the controller feels really nice. Like, it's smooth. If I could get used to actually using it, I think it'd be a lot better. My problem is I'm not used to using it, and I keep accidentally pressing buttons that are not helping me. I've also heard really good things about how well these last. Essentially 3 months into my old controller, it wound up breaking on me. I couldn't use the LB button, and it just pretty constantly, the LB button would double click and it became a problem. Like, I would constantly switch to the wrong weapon, and that's not what I wanted to do. I might wind up taking one of these paddles off till I get used to the controller again. It's actually really convenient too. All you have to do is like pop them out, and they come out really easily. They stay programmed. I'll probably feel more comfortable with just these two, if I'm being honest with you guys, because now this is essentially my old controller setup. I think for me, the biggest piece is going to be the longevity of the controller, whether or not it lasts long term, because I don't know, it can feel good for a couple of weeks, but if it doesn't last more than a month, then you spent 90, 80 bucks for no reason. Yeah, I mean, 3 rounds in, I guess this is round 4. It's really comfortable. I think taking these 3rd and 4th paddles off really helped me. Feels smooth. I always thought the Xbox controller felt better than the PlayStation controller, even though at times I've really enjoyed using the PlayStation controllers. Yeah, it really didn't take any time whatsoever. This is literally my first match that I'm playing with this controller, and it feels smooth. It's mapped exactly how I want it to, and really easy to change. So far I would recommend. I'll have to play a little longer, use it for a decent bit, try it out. All right, let's talk about setup and ease of use for this guy. So personally, I was able to take this out of the packaging and use it, I'd say, in a matter of 15 seconds. It took a small firmware update, so that way my PC could read what this thing was doing. The only thing that didn't work right away was the back buttons, but I wouldn't expect them to work because it says they're not programmed to any specific button until you program them. So that makes sense why they didn't work right away. If you just wanted to use this without the back buttons, you could set it up, plug it in, and in 15 seconds, it's all yours. Like that is beautiful to me. For that setup, ease of use, I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. So easy to use, easily set up. I had to do nothing. Now let's talk about customization. All it is these back buttons. There's 4 of them. And if you can see this top button right here, That's how you program them. It is really easy to set up. I was able to program all 4 of these back buttons in a matter of, I don't know, 30 to 45 seconds. It is really nice. And if you don't want all 4, you can have any random combination of these paddles on here. You just take them off. They come off super easily. It does nothing to the controller. You can put them right back on if you want, but for customization, I have to give this a 5 out of 5. Super easy to set up. You even have different trigger abilities if you want your triggers to go deeper or you want them to stop a little higher. For Fortnite, I want them to stop a little higher, so 5 out of 5 for customization on this. As far as how it feels, for me, how it feels in your hand, the wire's a little annoying. It's stiff, so that kind of gets in the way. Wasn't a huge fan of how stiff the wire was, and maybe I'll get used to it. I prefer wired things. I liked wired headsets. I like wired controllers. I forget to charge things, so I like them to be plugged in so I don't have to worry about that. Anyway, this one's a little stiff, and as far as how it feels in your hand, the one thing I ran into was that I had a tendency to accidentally touch the top paddles when trying to press the bottom paddles. That was a little bit of a problem for me. I took them both off, so I'm playing without any bottom or top paddles. Back to the customization, this is how I prefer it, just these 2 paddles as opposed to 4. I guess that's not really a negative, but to me, I don't like how it feels right out of the box. You can customize it to what you want, and for how it feels, we're gonna go a 3 out of 5. As far as responsiveness, this is nothing that I didn't expect. I have been recommending this controller numerous times. It feels really good in game. It doesn't feel like there's any delay, even with the back buttons. Sometimes you have these customized back buttons on here and they don't work right away. And to me, I was able to set this up in under a minute, play, jump right in game, and then figure out how exactly it felt and was easily able to jump in. So again, another 5 out of 5 on responsiveness, and playability, I guess, would be the other piece. It is very easily playable with. It doesn't feel like there's a delay or anything. The last thing is durability. And to be honest with you guys, I can't answer that question. I really just had this now. I'll give you an update. I'll pin a comment on this in about 3 months. Let you guys know how exactly this controller is doing after 3 months. That's a long time for some controllers. I mean, you buy an Xbox Elite, you're probably going to be getting a new controller in 3 months, but we'll see how this does. And I will keep you guys updated 3-6 months. Hopefully, maybe even a year from now, I'm using this. We will see. We will see.